Hi guys, it's Miss C here with cycle 1, week 19. I can't believe it's week 19. I always feel like when I start the first part of the year, it seems like it's going to be so long till April, and then I feel like it just flies by after the new year starts. So anyway, here we are, last quarter, so let's jump in. For geography, we have Mesoamerica. So I did point out Meso means kind of middle America, and it's in between North and South America. It's the same area that we were in last week, so they're kind of familiar with what it looks like. If you are trying to find it on the map, we're down in that blown up corner on the world side of the map. I also wanted to point out that Meso means middle because later in science we talk about the mesopelagic, and that is the middle. So we have Mexico City, and we're going to eat burritos in Mexico City or whatever Mexican food you would like to eat. And then we had a cup of hot cocoa in Lake Texcoco. And then we moved over into our Yucatan Peninsula. So be sure to repoint these out to them as you're going through. Over to our Yucatan Peninsula, and we ate pancakes in Mayapan pancakes. And then we had chicken pizza in Chichen Itza. And then we were so full, we went down to Oaxaca, and we said, oh, Oaxaca, I'm so full. Okay. With the little kids, I focus on those a little bit more. I did briefly introduce them to them today just to be a little more fun, but I didn't spend a ton of time, really specifying chicken pizza and all that stuff. I spent more time talking about Mayapan, as in we know now the Maya civilization, which is in the Yucatan Peninsula, and that the Lake Texcoco, which looks like our little duck walking on water, is in the Aztec civilization along with Mexico City. And then Oaxaca still looks like it's in the Aztec civilization, but just like the Olmecs are kind of in the middle, Oaxaca is also in the middle. So our two O locations in Mesoamerica are both in the middle. So then we backed up and we're by the Gulf of Mexico, we're over in North America. And then we did a review like I normally did, where I just go through and randomly pick locations on the map. I really enjoyed reviewing geography this way. 1, because everybody still has their maps out. 2, because I was super bad about reviewing geography before, partially because it's a lot harder for the younger kids. Geography just tends to be harder. But I like doing this while we have the map out. And 2, it's really just based off of whatever I remember and whatever location that I can remember the name of at the time. And so it's very random. And so they really have to know their locations rather than just know, okay, if I go from here into here into here, it's this one, then this one, then this one. And so they're really having to know these and know them out of order, and not just know them in the context of when I'm over in Asia, it's this sea, then this river, then this river. So that's been really good. It's been really good for me too. And it helps me see there are certain places that a student gets messed up on, every time, they've just gotten it confused in their brain. And so it helps me know that we need to work on that, or let their parent know they need to work on that, or try to come up with a way to help them remember that better. So anyway, we moved on to math. We're using our math song. I will say, you didn't used to have to say 3.14 when I very first started tutoring and using this math song. They do want you to say that now for Memory Master. So I still like my math song because you still learn all of it. With the older kids, we just sang today pi 3.14, and we shoved it in there together into the song. You can just sing the song and then say pi equals 3.14. As long as they know pi is 3.14, it doesn't matter. So our song is the geometry song. It says the area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of its side squared s squared. The area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi 3.14 times the radius squared. That's what we did today. And then the circumference. The circumference of a circle equals pi 3.14 times the 2 times pi 3.14 times radius. Sorry. I was like, wait a minute, I forgot something. Anyway, so that's what we did. We did our math song. They all like it and know it. I have drawn up on my board a circle, just talked about the radius is from the middle to the perimeter of the circle. And I wrote out what the equation looks like, which is A equals 3.14 times R, just so they can kind of see what that equation means and what it looks like. So then we moved on from math over to Latin. So Latin this semester, I've been just really focusing on making sure they've got these declensions down and making sure they can identify without prompting, because that's what they'll have to do for Memory Master, which declension is which. So last week we really worked on second and fourth declension because they both start with us or us. And so today we had third declension, and third declension starts with various. And the way I told them to remember is there are various declensions on this side of the third declension and various declensions on this side. We have 1 and 2 on this side and 4 and 5 on this side. So that's how we're going to remember 3. There's various on either side. For the first declension, it's ah with an A, and the A is first letter of the alphabet. So that's our first declension. Second declension, it's us, one, us, just one. So just me and you. So just us, which is 2 people. So that's why I remember that. Fourth declension, it's us, which looks like us. So it's me and you and those 2. So the 2 of us is 4. And so the 2 of us, you can't see me. My hand was over here. I was doing like these 2 people and these 2 people, us and us. So that's 4. That's our fourth declension. And then fifth declension, if you make it all the way to fifth declension, you're an ace at Latin. So it starts with ace. So those are my devices. If you have other ways to remember, please leave me a comment on that, because I am all for finding other ways to help kids remember these. These work for me, and they seem to work for most of the kids in my class, but they might not work for some of them, and I would love to have other ways to help them remember. So we did it Latin, sang through it a couple times, and then we moved on to our ocean zones in science. So for science, we have these really crazy words, but if you've ever watched Finding Nemo, you might have kind of heard them before, because they are what Mr. Racing's about. So I did sing the song for them. It goes, let's name some zones, some zones, some zones. Let's name some zones of the ocean. See, there's epipelagic, mesopelagic, bathypelagic, abyssopelagic, blah. All the rest are too deep for you and me to see. There's some big words to fit in there. I wondered how often the voice actor, like how many times he had to do that till he got a take where he didn't mess up any of them, because he says it so fast. So I did go over that with them. I cut out a Mr. Ray and put it up on my board because I just love Mr. Ray. He's so fun. But we sang through that. Again, not all of my kids like songs, so I try to recognize that. So we did talk about the epipelagic. It's like our epithelial layer of skin, which they know that word. They've learned that in the last cycle. So epithelial is like your top layer of skin. And then we have the mesopelagic, just like we have Mesoamerica. It's the middle, so it's like the mid layer. And bathopelagic, I didn't have anything really like awesome for that, except it has the word bath in it, and when you take a bath, you like run a whole bunch of water. It's like way deeper than like the water that you would run for, it would be in the bottom of your shower, right? So bath, deep water, it's running deep, so it's deeper than the mesopelagic. And then the abyssopelagic, it's like deep into the abyss of the ocean. So for those that are more visual with their words, we talked about that. And then if you want to create a mnemonic device, again, this one, you don't have to say them in order for Memory Master, so you can take them out of order. This one, I wouldn't say it's like important to know them in order, but it does make a little more sense because they are in the order of how the actual layers are. But again, it doesn't matter. It's just what are some ocean zones, so you can name them in any order you want to. So if you rearrange them, they can spell beam. If you keep them in the order, they spell emba, which doesn't actually mean anything, but you could make something up with it. So that's what we did. Oh, and then so after I sang the song, we went through and we just repeated them. And after every time we repeated them, I would erase a word. So we ended up repeating it a few times, and then all the words were gone, and they just had to say it without the words up there. So we went on from there to English. So for English, we're still using our helping verb song. The girls in my class love it. The boys don't hate it, but they're also not like, singing with a lot of gusto when we sing it. So some of them, again, I have several going for Memory Master. So some of them are just ready to just chant through it and get done. So we did sing the song. If you are using the song, it goes, helping verbs, help another verb assert an action, being, or existence. Helping verbs make lots of sense. Helping verbs are do, does, did, has, have, had, may, must, might, should, would, could, shall, will, can. Helping verbs can lend a hand. So again, the girls love the song. When I am writing it up on the board, I write all of the helping verbs, but then the ones we're focusing on for that day, I write them a lot bigger so that they know those are what we're learning for today. But I really like these lists one. I like that we kind of like can build and review every time. I think it really solidifies them for them. So we sing through the song a couple times. And then when I'm reviewing the helping verbs, rather than singing through the song for them or saying like, give me week 18 helping verbs, because no one memorizes them that way, I just kind of say, what are 3 helping verbs that start with M? What are 3 helping verbs that start with D? And that's kind of how I've been reviewing them. So after that, we went to history. So the Anasazi, and I don't know why it sounds Italian. That confuses me every time. And also, the last time through this cycle, someone pointed out that it sounds kind of like Vienna sausage at the beginning. Like that sounds like what they're saying. Vienna sausage, Vienna sausage. And I can't unhear it now. So if it's ruined for me, it's going to be ruined for all of you all. There you go. But what I did for this was I played the song for them. And while the song was playing, they each took a turn going up to the board and erasing. I had this sentence written correctly up there, erasing one of the words and replacing it with their own word. So by the end, I would read, I'm going to read their sentence. So I said, okay, tell me about the Anasazi. And it says, is Bob's of the Spaghetti United States built adobe bills in tacos and on the pizzas of fishes without eyes. So fishes is how it's supposed to be pronounced, I was told. From 20,000 BC to AD negative 5 billion. So there you know all about the Anasazis. They really had fun doing that. And we got through the song multiple times. It's kind of a short one. So and they could sing through the whole thing by the end. So that was good. For timeline, because I did remember to do timeline today. Yay me. We did the bomb game. We hadn't done that in a while. And I had some visitors in class. And so we had our open house day. So I was trying to do things that they could participate in and putting them in order and things like that. If you aren't familiar with the timeline, it's very overwhelming and it's not as engaging. So I thought this would be a good engaging one to do in class because anybody can pick a card. No big deal. So we did that, and then I took a minute really fast and just went through the cards and just kind of held up a card and made them attend, because that's what we're doing, attend to the name on the card. If I can find a card. Here we go. So, for example, I held up Lincoln's War Between the States. And I was like, all right, Lincoln's War Between the States. What's another name for this war? And they were all like, the Civil War. And I was like, that's right. Who was president during this? Lincoln. And where was this war? Who was this war between? The states. And which states? The United States. So I just asked a couple of questions. It was not me reading off of the back or saying any more information. It's just making them pay attention to the words they are actually saying when they're singing the timeline. So I went through all the cards and just did something really quick like that with each of them after we did our bomb game, because they got the bombs really fast in the beginning. So yeah, that was all for new grammar. Just really fast, if you have this book, it is the Usborne Complete Book of the Microscope. Inside, it's on pages, 68 through 71. There are some incredible pictures of crystals and some really awesome information, because today's science, while super fun, there is a lot of downtime. There is not a lot of actually doing the experiment. It's just kind of sitting there, almost waiting for paint to dry, because you're literally just waiting for this water to dry up and form crystals. So this was a great resource to have today, and I love the pictures. So there's this page, and then there is also this page, which just has some really cool, beautiful, kaleidoscope pictures, and it tells you all about what they are pictures of. So I just thought those were really great, and it was a really awesome thing to add in to science to help kind of fill in some of that time while you're waiting for your crystals to form. I won't go over orchestra because I do have a video done for orchestra. It says it's cycle 3, but it works for any cycle. I need to record one and just not talk about anything cycle specific, but I will try to link that one down below, or you can just go and scroll back through and look, because it's towards the end of last year. that I recorded that one, and that has a lot of tips for doing orchestra. So anyway, review. Everybody always asks me what I did for review. So for review today, we did Connect 4. I just do it on my whiteboard. You can kind of see the remnants of my board here. So I just draw a grid and I divide the class into teams. We have 4 boys and 4 girls, and we had one visiting boy today, so we just divided boys and girls. And I ask them a question and they take turns going in and filling in a spot on the board. The rule is just like Connect 4, it has to fall all the way down. So like you can't just put one up in the top corner because that's where you want it. It has to go all the way to the bottom. So I've done it before where you have to answer like, if you want to get it in this particular square, you might have to answer Latin for week 5. But I found that just takes too much time, and I can just go through and review, and they can put it up wherever they want to. So we actually were able to play that a couple times today for review. It's really easy. It's fast, very little prep work, and you get through a lot of stuff. As they're going up, and I will give you the tip that as they're going up and filling in their circle, go ahead and be asking the other team the next question, because they like to really deliberate on, especially as the game gets going. My class at least is like, they have to really talk about where they're putting their piece. And if you don't keep moving, I tell them if the other team gets up there before they've got theirs, then they can go ahead and put it. So you got to be like a little more fast with it. So that helps kind of motivate them to know where they're going and put it up there. So anyway, this video is long enough, so I will stop. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can leave them down below and I will try to get to those. I try very hard to respond to everything that I can. So anyway, I hope you have a great week. I'll see you back with week 20. Bye guys.